And welcome back for another video. If you're new here, my name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And tonight we are going to tackle Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I did the first one quite a while back, and I've just gotten around to taking on this one. I actually liked the first one very much. I like this one a little less, but then again, we all know about the nightmare that the filming of this was, and it shows in some ways, and so I don't really blame him as much. But it is what it is. So, um, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was released in 2009, directed and written by Rob Zombie, obviously, when you watch it. It stars Scout Taylor-Thompson. Thompson? I've got so many of her movies. Scout Taylor-Compton, Tyler Main, Malcolm McDowell. And I'm not even going to mention the woman that was given a part just to have a part. Like everything he does. It's just weird. But, yeah. So, this movie opens, like I said, it was released in 2009. It opens with a little psychological footnote explaining the meaning of a white horse in psychological dreamscape. And when I saw that, that was the first thing that made me go, wait a second, all I've heard, in reviews, because this is the first time that I've seen it, was last night, like right before I went to bed. And all of the stuff that I had heard about was this bitching about the white horse. That white horse stuff. And how they didn't get it, it didn't make no sense, they didn't understand it, they don't understand why it was in the movie, blah blah blah. So I was instantly confused when I started watching this movie because it explains it right there. I mean, it's the first thing they show you in the movie is a white horse. This is what it means, purity and rage and stuff like that. It explains what, from this psychological book about dreams, that this is what a white horse in visions and dreams represents. So when I saw that, I was like, wait a second, did everybody that see this movie didn't see the first 5 seconds? Because it explains it right there. And so I really don't understand how people don't know what the white horse in this movie means. Now, I have, I watched the unrated director's cut. Perhaps that wasn't in the theatrical or something. I don't know the difference between the two. I have no interest in seeing the theatrical cut. But all I can tell you is that I know exactly what the white horse means. I know what it means to Michael. I know what it represents to his particular take on this story. I know exactly what the white horse means. It makes perfect sense. But then again, I'm told exactly what it means at the beginning of the damn movie, so I don't get it. All of the screaming that I've heard about the white horse stuff in the movie when it's explained from the very beginning. Because the first scene is the mom, Sheri Moon or whatever her name is, visiting Mike in the institution, and she hands him this, beautiful white horse figurine. I just realized I have one. I do. I actually have one. That's weird. I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but it just occurred to me when I'm sitting there and I was talking about the white horse. I was like, I've got a horsey. See him? Wow. How cool is that? I have to polish him up. That is a crystal horse. For those of you who are wondering why there is a towel sitting there, my mice sit right here. Just as a little side personal note for you to get to know me. Um, I have a very bad habit of knocking my mice onto the floor, and this things, these things, they can fall on that towel all they want to. But if that towel is not there, I have to buy a new mouse. And I'm tired of buying mice. So I was like, you know what? Since you can't stop knocking your mice off onto the floor, why don't you put something there to cushion it? So there you go. But yes, the white horse. Or in this case, but it is white. The bottom is white. Michael. Here's your one. He's so cute. So, and I really didn't even realize that I had a horse sitting right over there till just then. But back to the thing. So she gives him this white horse figurine and talks to him about family and, how they could be a family again one day. So the horse, does represent this idea that was planted into his head by his crazy ass mother, because he is a crazy ass boy. So it works out perfectly. Well, for them, not for anybody else. So she visits him and she has this discussion and gives him the little, white horse figurine that that um, everybody seems to have a massive problem with for some reason. Um, and I also wanted to make comment. I really like the little boy that's playing Michael in this one. It's not that I disliked the other one, but I really love, I'm a headbanger, and I love Michael's hair, young Michael. I love his hair in this movie. And so, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I had it wrote in the notes. Like young Mike's hair in this one. I do. I just love his hairstyle in this movie. Um, but we have Lori. Then we switch to Lori walking down the road. It's obviously picking up now where the last movie ended. She's walking down the road covered in blood after having shot Michael. And you are then shown the scene from the last movie where now they're cleaning up the scene. They're picking up all the bodies. They're putting them into, the cadaver trucks. Took like 5 people to pick Michael up and put him in there. And on the way, the sheriff tells them that on the way to take, Michael to the coroner and wait for him tomorrow. And on the way, and that was a scene that definitely woke my ass up. And that is when a guy screamed, cow, 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 and they hit the damn cow. That was fucked up. I mean, that was fucked up. It's like, they just, that cow did some damage to that van too. Did you notice that? That cow busted that van all to hell. And the cow didn't fare, it didn't fare much better. So it instantly killed the driver, and then the other passenger was screaming for help, which, Rob Zombie definitely makes you feel absolutely nothing for the characters in his movies because I did not care. That filthy mouth of theirs, um, Michael gets out and kills him ugly, and I was perfectly fine with that. Like almost all of the characters in Rob Zombie's movies, when they get killed, I'm like, good. I'm not sure if he does that on purpose, though. Maybe that's one of his failings as a director, is that he has the ability to make all of his characters just hate-worthy. I mean, he is the Ron Jeremy of cinema, mainstream cinema. I mean, it's just, well, we'll go into that later. But enough about, we don't need to go about what my feelings about Rob Zombie. Um, so you see everybody getting cleaned up. Lori is in the hospital. The doctors are trying to put her together, which is that's some gross shit. If you ever wanted to know what a victim of like a massive car wreck or a slasher or something looked like, them trying to patch her up, and Annie as well, was pretty grotesque. But then again, that's what it was supposed to be. So Lori wakes up in the hospital and visits Annie. We get to see Octavia Spencer, which is cool. If you've never seen her movie Ma, M-A, Ma, you have to. But Octavia Spencer is the nurse, so it was one of her, for earlier roles. And she was going to go on to become one of my favorite actors is Octavia Spencer. So it's cool getting to see her. But she goes in there to visit Annie. Then we have Octavia's kill, which is that was a good kill. You have the hospital chase begin, I guess, an ode to the original Halloween 2. And only in this time, well, we get to see the Buddy's kill. She manages to make it out into like the guard shack where Buddy comes, and we get to see him axed, and then she wakes up screaming because it's all a dream. Which I knew that when there was like a dumpster, like a skip full of bodies that she fell in. Because what is that? I mean, this isn't Silent Green. So I actually knew two ways that I knew that was a dream. One, no channel is going to play Nights in White Satin so often. Because it was playing in the hospital bedroom, it was playing elsewhere, it was playing in the shack. And it's like, honey, that song isn't that long. And it's not going to be played on repeat on any channel, even MTV. So I kind of knew that. But also when she fell in that skip full of bodies, I was like, what? That's not real. I mean, this has got to be a dream or something, right? And so it was a dream. And we wake up and it's 2 years later. And Lori has moved in with Annie and is staying with Annie and Sheriff, the Sheriff Brackett. So they're living together. Lori is in therapy with Margot Kidder, which made me very sad to see her. I love Margot Kidder. The bad stuff that happened to her, when she lost her marbles and managed to get her life back together, and then she died. And but getting to see Margot Kidder was quite cool. She plays Lori's therapist, trying to help her come to terms with the stuff that's happened. We get to see Dr. Loomis is back. He's a very different Dr. Loomis than the original series, which, in my opinion, this has nothing to do with. He's an asshole on a book tour. So I don't know why Rob wanted to take Dr. Loomis into that direction, but in my opinion, it further separates this movie from the original, which is a good thing to me because that's the reason why I can enjoy them when a lot of other people don't, is because this is not Halloween. This is the Halloween story taken by Rob Zombie and turned into a pretty much completely different story, a different vision or a different perspective or something. So, um, we get to see Lori at the place that she works, which is like a little Java shop. And that guy from WKRP Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, he played the cool DJ. He's in that. And I recognized him. Can't tell you his name, but I recognized him from WKRP in Cincinnati. We have Michael having this barn vision where he's seeing his mother. This was like the first vision that we get to see of Michael, and that's how it stays for the rest of the movie. You always see the mom over the white horse, and you see little Michael. Little Michael is always standing in front of Big Michael. In his visions. So we get to see this barn vision where we get to see into his psyche. He's basically on a mission to put his family back together. In hell, perhaps. So we get this nice kill from the redneck trio. Some guy and his friend and the guy's daughter are in this big truck with antlers on the front. They jump out and beat Michael with one of them has a bat, the other one has a tire iron, and Mike gets up and kills them ugly, as you would expect. So we have that kill. Then he gets the dog out of the back of the truck and kills it and eats it raw. That was just unnecessary. But it is Rob Zombie after all. So we then start seeing, it's what, the 30th now? So we see Michael entering Haddonville territory. We see Dr. Loomis coming back to Michael because he's celebrating his book and stuff like that. And we also get to see Lori have her first vision, where she sees things sort of like the same way that Michael is seeing things. She goes back into therapy where she's screaming at Margot Kidder to give her more drugs to help her with this, but she refuses. She ends up like getting all spastic and has a fight with Annie and runs off and stays with her friends, who Maya and the black-haired girl, I don't know her name, or I don't remember her name. Then we get to see what Rob Zombie had to have in the movie. I mean, at least you didn't get to see, now we're going to go off on a side tangent. At least we didn't have to witness people, heterosexuals, having sex where the girl is completely stripped from top to bottom, but the guys screw with their pants on. On that note, I've lived on the internet for 20 years. So it goes without saying that for one reason or another, like everyone, I've had heterosexual porn pop up and thrown into my face. And they're always naked. So that was one of my biggest complaints about the first movie, and lots of movies do it, and I don't get it. But I remember when I did the review for Halloween 1, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, I remember saying that, and that was, what's up with that? With, I mean, is that what? Because on the porn, the guys take their clothes off at least. But like in some of these movies, and especially misogynistic pigs like Rob Zombie, um, why do y'all? Is that what heterosexuals do? Do y'all like keep your clothes on? You make the women strip completely naked, but you screw with your pants on. I don't. I don't really get get that. So I remember I actually like asked me brother, and I asked some people. I'm like, you know, did you and your friends? I mean, just straight. Is that what y'all do? You straight people? Yeah. No. So why do they do it in movies? Either way, at least we didn't have to witness that strange phenomenon, and I'm only pretending I know what it is. You're misogynistic pigs who want to objectify women instead of just letting them be nude. The only way to let them be nude is if the other people are nude too. But because you people are scared of what? Seeing a guy's ass? What is your audience? 14-year-olds? Because this is supposed to be a rated R movie. You're not supposed to have a target audience of 14-year-old juvenile kids. Please don't tell me that straight guys above the age of 14 are scared to see a dude's ass. I don't know. That just irritated me. So at least we didn't get to see that. Instead, we get to see the Rob Zombie strip club kills, where this absolutely pig, who should have been played by Ron Jeremy, is fat, ugly, disgusting. I mean, is that who Rob Zombie hangs around in real life? See, I don't think you can be this white trash unless you are. That's all I'm saying. But here we go. This girl is completely stripped from top to bottom, and the guys are fully dressed, saying the most grotesque talk. I don't know. I just. So we get to see the Rob Zombie strip club scenes. Now, it did have one of the best kills. I mean, the body slam. Okay, I'm gonna say it. The body slam. That disgusting scumbag that went outside to the skip and to throw away the trash. When he walks up to Michael and then mouths off to him and then slaps him, and Michael body slams his ass. That is the best body slam I have ever seen in any movie of any time ever. I mean, he just like, and it looked so real. I mean, that body slam where he grabbed him and threw him on the ground had to break at least 75% of the bones in his body. And so I did like, ooh, rewind. Damn, rewind. Fuck. That was the best body slam that I have ever seen. Tyler Mane, you got it, baby. That was a good scene. Then, of course, the fat pig and the bitch gets killed, and he's stripped naked the whole time, even though they're in the middle of having sex. The fat, not that I wanted him without his clothes, but the fat Ron Jeremy pig, he is fully dressed. She's like buck completely up on the. What is wrong with you people? Okay, does a pee-pee scare you? Is that it, dudes? You straight guys, did the pee-pee scare you? Y'all are. I don't. I'm really having fun with you on that because y'all are pathetic. They're like, God damn, fucking 13-year-olds. Do you ever grow up? Please, oh my God. So, let's move on. So, now that we have the Rob Zombie strip club scenes where we get to see his use of a fully naked female, because it just had to be in there. Um, was there any sex in this? Yeah, in the van. We'll get to that. But that didn't even get started, did it? No, that's right, there wasn't any. There was no sex in this movie, was there? Well, except for the strip club thing. You had the van thing, but that didn't get started. But, yeah, so it's now October 31st, and Michael has came into town, and he sees the Dr. Loomis billboard sign appearing for his book tour. And of course, Mom and little Mike are buying, and they tell him, he's still out there getting rich off of our stuff, which is a little strange, but we'll talk about that too, how the difference between the two Michaels, the original and this, because in this one, he's like real with real motives, like, why is he going to have a vision about jealousy over the doctor being rich? Because the mother and the kid is a manifestation of his own thoughts. Why the real Michael Myers would not be worried about, he would not even conceive of Dr. Loomis being rich and making money off of his story. That's jealousy and greed, and Michael Myers wouldn't be jealous of the success of Dr. Loomis. So, that's the difference between the real Halloween and Rob Zombie's. But at the same time, it's interesting to have Michael Myers be more of a psycho, a real psycho, not a supernatural shape, but a real psycho that dons a mask when he kills and walks around like a homeless person when he's not. So I like it. It's interesting. Just don't compare the two, or don't try to put the two together, in my opinion. But he sees the sign. This also freaks the sheriff out, because the sheriff is now reading the book. And you see the sheriff freak out about something, and he calls Annie, wanting Annie to find Laurie and have her call him. So she's trying to locate Laurie, and then we do see Laurie walking down the street, and she does walk in front of a bookstore, and she sees the book, and I think she goes in and buys a copy. And then we see her absolutely freaking out in a car, screaming and carrying on. And he does drag it out as to, we're now wondering, what was the sheriff freaking out about? What's in that book? What's Laurie freaking out about? She goes to her friend Maya and the other girl, and proceeds to finally tell us, and that is that Dr. Loomis, this poor girl is out there and has no idea, right? And he puts it in the book that Laurie was actually Angel Myers, that Laurie Strode is actually Angel Myers, Michael Myers' sister. She didn't know that. And that was rude. So she's freaking out, and then they go to the Rocky Horror Party, where she dresses up as Magenta, and that Maya girl, she dresses up as Frankenfurter, and I think the other one does Columbia. But they go, and you get that party where she's having a mental breakdown about having discovered that she is Angel Myers, Michael Myers' sister. So we get another kill here, and that's the van kill where Maya picks up the Wolfman and has their little banter. They go out there and try to get started, but he goes to take a leak, and he gets a lot bigger hole than he thought he was going to get that night, because he got one through his body. And then Michael goes and murders Maya in the van. So we get those scenes. Um, Laura sees a vision of who? Milk. Sometimes my writing can be problematic. I think that's supposed to say Mike. Yes, Lori sees vision of Mike and Mom. Because I kind of wondered, what was I trying to say? Why would I write Lori sees visions of Milk and Mom? So you can see my problem there. So Lori sees her first visions of Mike and the mother during the party. And what's weird is that when she has these visions, they manifest like really, her body reacts as though they're happening, even though, and everybody around can see her body reacting to these visions, but they can't see what the visions are. So that's kind of interesting. Meanwhile, Michael has made it to Annie's, the sheriff's house, and he kills the guard outside of Annie's. And what is weird is that the attack takes place off screen, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But then again, I found out a little later why, but it's still an interesting choice. But Annie is attacked off screen. Lori finds Annie's body, which is why she was attacked off screen, I think. It's because they wanted you to experience the shock of her walking into that bathroom and seeing that much blood and Annie, Danielle Harris, cut all up on the floor. So, on a side note, I absolutely love Danielle's hair in this movie. I wish my hair was just like hers in this movie. Because hers is not really a girl's hairstyle, it's more of a hippie. It's more of a hippie shag, and that's the hairstyles that I like. But I love Danielle's hair in this movie. So we find her on the floor where Lori tries to help her. Maya is killed. And then Annie dies in Lori's arms. Lori runs off, and then we see the sheriff have to come home because they find out that the 911 call came from his address. So he comes home, and we have to witness him finding his daughter slashed all to pieces in that bathroom, which was pretty, freaked out. So Lori then manages to get away. She gets on the highway and gets a ride, but before the guy can get back in to help her and take off, Michael attacks him, gets Lori, takes her to the barn, or the shack. It's like a little shack, barn shack combo. So there was a witness, which I think they just threw that in there because I didn't see any witness, but supposedly some woman had saw Michael leaving that area and taking Lori to that barn, or to that shack. So the sheriff goes to that, and we see in the shack that Lori and Michael are pretty much now connected, and they're actually sharing the same vision. She's seeing it and he's seeing it at the same time, and they're almost like they're psychically connected and are sharing this vision. And of course, law enforcement arrives when the mother tells Michael that now it's time, that they can all go and be a family again. But law enforcement arrives, they surround the shack, and the sheriff and Loomis have a big gigantic fight where Loomis goes running in even though the sheriff told him to leave. We see Mike and Loomis come busting through the wall, where Mike finishes off Loomis. Unlike the original, where that would have hurt you, you're perfectly okay once again with Loomis getting knifed, because I was fine with it. I was like, oh, that's good, that's all right, because he was an asshole. So, um, Lori then manages to come out and picks up the knife and is shot multiple times. We then see Lori in a clinic setting. She was shot a couple of times, but it wasn't like she was AK-47. But she was shot a couple of times. We see her in a clinic setting, and then Mom, with the white horse, shows up, walking down, or the vision of the mother, walking down the hall with the white horse, and Lori smiling, and that was it. Is she dead or not? Now, I keep trying to think back to the other discussions and reviews I've heard on it. Isn't there something about the theatrical version has her dead, more, I mean, like, no question dead, whereas this left it open? Because Michael was alive, and he was having those visions, so couldn't Lori still be alive and having those visions? Is Lori dead, or is she not? I don't know. The movie doesn't say. This version of the movie doesn't say. So, and that's fine with me, but see, here's my thing. The mother had been communicating, or in Michael's visions, the mother and little Mike were driving him to put their family back together, and there was one missing member, and that was Angel, now known as Lori. So, if the ending of this version was Lori being dead in the field, why was her vision only of the mother and the horse? You see? Why was her vision more like Michael's vision, the mother driving him to do this? If Lori was dead, where was Michael in that vision? Because shouldn't they be together now as a family? Shouldn't it have been Mom and the white horse and little Mike? Or Big Mike? Or both of them? Either one. Shouldn't it have been all of them? Because that was the whole point of those visions. So, I don't know. I mean, this movie, if you look at it from that standpoint, and also, another point, also, I think I'm just going to have a headlight shined in my face, but another point, a person having a vision is not going to look like shit. Okay? If you're having a vision, you in that vision are going to be your pristine self. Yet Lori had big dark black circles under her eyes. She looked like shit. She looked like she hadn't rested. She looked tormented and evil with black circles under her eyes. So, it doesn't make sense, is what I'm saying. For her to be dead It doesn't make sense. That vision doesn't make sense because she should have been beautiful and happy, and the mom and little Michael and big Michael, or one or the other of them, should have been welcoming her home to their family. They're all dead now. They're all together again. So why was it just the mom and just the horse? Why was it just the mom and the horse and not have Michael with it if she was dead? And why did she look like total shit? She looked like she would have looked if she had lived through that shooting and then been woke up in a mental institution. That she looked like that's what she would look like in real life if that happened to you. But she's supposed to be dead, and that was supposed to be a vision, right? But where was Michael in the vision? If they're back together now and the family is whole, instead it looked like, okay, it looked like she was crazy now like Michael and was going to be having visions and could go on a killing spree herself. That's what it looked like. So, did I like the movie? Yeah, it was like a 6.5 out of 10. I liked the first one a lot better than this one, but I still liked this one. I don't have any major issues with it other than the same issues I've had with any other or some other movies that, objectify women instead of having equal nudity. And you could also tell, we've all seen, if you're a fan of horror, or this, I'm sure you've seen documentaries or discussions about the absolutely horrific fights between Rob Zombie and the producers, and the horrible filming problems, and the disagreements, and everything that went on. So it shows in some of the structure of this movie. You can tell that it was not filmed in a pleasant atmosphere, in a pleasant artistic atmosphere. And I think he made a great movie despite that, and I think he was able to hide a lot of it, but I think that you could tell a little bit that there was some trouble in the production of this movie. So it didn't seem to me as coherent and structured in a vision as the first one. The first one looked like they were having fun, and this one looked like they were just trying to get through it alive. And but I still love it. I still like it. I might replace my, now that I've seen them both, I might replace them with Blu-rays. I think I like them enough to do that. So I'm alright with these two movies. His vision of this universe, of the core story, is okay to me. I really, really love the first one. The first one's like an 8 out of 10 to me. This one's like a 6.8 out of 10. But I like having a different vision of the Michael Myers story. I kind of like seeing Michael as just a human psycho that is killable, just very tough to do so. Because, I'm a true crime nut. This has happened before. I'm not talking about the story. I'm saying that there are instances where this kind of thing has happened as far as his strength and seemingly invulnerability, like that boy down here in Florida who went nuts and like killed that woman and nearly ate that man in their garage, in their garage. A true story. Man, he was like Michael Myers as far as being put down. The video that shows him, the cops trying to get him off that dude, he was like a rabid dog. The cops was like kicking and punching and as like, I was like, shoot the motherfucker. That's what I remember thinking. But that kid was so clocked that they couldn't get him off of him. And there's been plenty of other instances where a person, be it on angel dust or speed or something, that turns them into what seems like almost invincible. So to see Michael presented more as a insane person with actual motives instead of just being this supernatural shape, the shape of evil. Instead, Rob Zombie presented him as just a fucking psycho that was killable because Michael is dead. I don't know that Laurie is though in this movie. So yeah, I liked it. The soundtrack, I didn't like the soundtrack, which surprised me. But I've never been a fan of what I call jingle jangle music, and I didn't really like that band that they had in there. I don't like that. Now they had some songs here and there, like Nights in White Satin and stuff that was in the movie, but the soundtrack was just shit. The soundtrack was shit for this movie. I did not like that band, and I don't like that jingle jangle, trying to be, George Thorogood or something. You just ain't got it. And no, I didn't like that. So the soundtrack really sucked to me. I didn't really find a lot that it was interesting. So I think he did a shitty job on the soundtrack. But then again, Rob Zombie makes shitty music, so I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's music. I do love I love these two movies, especially the first one, 39, the Devil Rejects trilogy. He makes some alright movies, and then he makes some that I don't have any interest in, but I don't really like him that much as a person, and I don't really like him that much as a musician. So I'm not surprised that the soundtrack sucked. There was a couple good songs, but the songs from that band in this movie was disgusting. But enough bitching about it. I do like this movie. I am a fan of these two movies, especially the first one. And I wish they could, no, I better not say that. But I really liked this movie. Danielle Harris was great. Scout was great. Taylor Maine is great. Tyler Maine is great. Yeah, I like it. So, first time seeing, how old is it? 12 years old? 13 years old? Something like that. First time that I've ever seen it. I may have seen a clip or something here and there, but I don't remember it. So, yeah, it was a complete experience for me. I really liked the first one. I like this one fine. Yeah. So that's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I give it a thumbs up. There was some really cool stuff in it. Best body slam scene ever in my entire life. I really liked that kill a great deal. Had some really awesome kills in it. Some really lame ones, but some really awesome ones as well. So, yeah. Altogether, loved it, and I will see you in the next video. Mommy. Now I keep expecting little Michael to appear. I better hide my horse. I'm not going to comment on that. I will see you in the next video. Always remember, you are a very special person. And if you think no one loves you, I love you. I really do. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I will see you in the next video. Love you. Miss you. Bye-bye. I'm going to do my May update next. So, I will see you in that video. Keep screaming, but only when appropriate. And I will see you then. Bye. Little horsey. Halloween 2. It's also a really cool Deftones album called White Pony. If you've never listened to it, it fucking rocks. That's why I have this, actually. Yes. Halloween 2. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance. It's okay. It really is. You'll be alright. And the white horse is easy to understand.